Let me tell you something, this is a story you won't forget. A nightmare that seeps into the marrow of your bones, filling every dark corner of your mind. It begins with Ellen Porter, a woman who has spent years suffocating in a life that offers nothing but repetition. The monotony of her job as an executive assistant has dulled her dreams, her ambitions reduced to nothing more than passing thoughts. Each morning, she watches herself in the mirror, seeing a woman she barely recognizes, a woman who once had desires beyond survival. Ellen Porter is intelligent, methodical, and deeply introspective. She is not someone who typically takes risks, yet she is weighed down by a lifetime of lost opportunities. Her love for Jack is fierce but rooted in desperation, a clinging to a man who represents a future she may never have. The act of stealing the money is not just about escape, it is a rebellion against the emptiness of her existence, a last grasp at control. But guilt clings to her like a second skin, an unshakable reminder that her actions have consequences. Then there is Jack Reynolds, the man she is willing to risk everything for. Jack is charming in a weary, world-beaten way. He is a man who has been on the losing side of life for too long, his dreams crushed beneath the weight of endless debt. But beneath his frustration and financial ruin, he genuinely loves Ellen. However, love alone isn't enough. He is practical, a survivor, and though he is waiting for Ellen in Los Angeles, he has no idea of the dark road she has taken to get to him. And then, fate presents her with a choice. $80,000. A small fortune, neatly packed in a brown envelope, entrusted to her for a simple deposit at the bank. Her fingers tremble as they hover over it. Her boss's money. Money that does not belong to her. But in that moment, something inside her shifts. Perhaps it's despair, or maybe it's something darker, hope twisted into desperation. Before she can second-guess herself, she takes it. Stuffing the envelope into her purse, packing a small suitcase, and leaving Little Rock behind in a blur of adrenaline and fear. Los Angeles is the dream, where Jack waits for her with open arms. This money could be their salvation, the escape they've longed for. But guilt is not an easy thing to outrun. With each passing mile, it sinks deeper into her chest, a silent passenger, whispering of consequences yet to come. Then, as if the world itself is trying to stop her, the sky fractures open, unleashing a torrential storm. Rain falls in thick sheets, distorting the road, pressing against her windshield like a living thing. Her hands tighten around the wheel, knuckles white with strain. And then, a neon sign flickers through the storm. Walsh Motel. A place forgotten by time, hidden away in the hollow of the landscape. A place where she can rest, gather her thoughts, prepare for whatever comes next. The office is dimly lit, a single lamp casting weak pools of yellow light. She steps inside, damp and shivering, and that is where she meets him. Henry Walsh. Henry is an enigma, soft-spoken, unassuming, and almost too polite. At first glance, he seems harmless, a man who never quite learned how to function in the world. His movements are careful, measured, as if he is afraid to disturb the air around him. He speaks of his mother with reverence, his devotion to her bordering on obsession. There is something deeply unsettling about him, an air of something unresolved, something fractured beneath the surface. Ellen should leave. Every instinct tells her to. But exhaustion wins. They share a meal, an odd, stilted conversation that only amplifies the unease curling in her stomach. And as she lies in bed that night, the weight of the stolen money pressing against her consciousness, a decision forms. She cannot do this. She will go back, return the money, set things right. But the world has already decided otherwise. That night, as the storm rages outside, Ellen steps into the shower, hoping to wash away the regret clinging to her skin. The water is scalding, the steam thick and suffocating. She exhales, closing her eyes. Then, a sound. Barely there. The faintest whisper of movement beyond the curtain. Her breath catches. The air in the bathroom shifts, heavy with something unseen. A presence. The prickling sensation of being watched. The curtain rips open. A figure, wrong, distorted, dripping malice, lunges. A knife flashes in the dim light. The first strike comes too fast for her to react, splitting through flesh. Pain blooms in white-hot bursts as the blade descends again and again. The last thing she sees is her own blood spiraling down the drain, mingling with the water, fading into nothing. Ellen Porter ceases to exist. In the silence that follows, Henry stands over the body, breathing hard. The weight of what has happened settles over him. But he does not call for help. Instead, methodically, he begins to clean. Every drop of blood is wiped away, every trace of her erased. He carries her lifeless form, placing her carefully in the trunk of her own car. The money, so much money, forgotten, lost with her. And for a while, it is as if she never was. But absence creates echoes. Ellen's sister, Grace Porter, is the first to hear them. Grace is tenacious, stubborn, and unrelenting. She has always been Ellen's protector, the one who picked up the pieces when things fell apart. When Ellen vanishes, she refuses to accept silence as an answer. Teaming up with Jack, she pushes forward, desperate to find the truth. Enter Collins, the private investigator. He is sharp-eyed, hardened by years of uncovering secrets people wanted buried. He follows the trail to Walsh Motel, where Henry stammers through uneasy explanations. But Collins knows. He sees the tremble in Henry's hands, the way his eyes dart to the house on the hill. Something festers there, something hidden. So he presses on. He ventures up the winding path to the looming house, unaware that he is stepping into a place where the past never truly dies. What he finds is worse than he could have imagined. The smell of decay, thick and cloying. The dim glow of candlelight illuminating something unnatural. A woman, her remains, frozen in time, perched in a chair as though she might wake at any moment. And then, footsteps. A shadow shifting in the doorway. Not Henry. Not quite. A figure dressed in tattered lace, a wig resting atop tangled hair, eyes gleaming with something that does not belong to this world. A voice, thin, reedy, high-pitched, echoes in the room. Mother doesn't like intruders. The knife strikes once more. In the final moments, Henry stands still, his lips curling into the faintest smile. Because in his mind, she is still there. Watching. Whispering. Waiting. And she will never, ever be blamed. Now it is up to Grace and Jack. They are done waiting. They show up at the motel, pretending to be guests, but they are hunting for the truth. Jack keeps Henry distracted while Grace creeps into the house. And there, in the basement, she finds her. Henry's mother. Or at least, what is left of her. The horror of it freezes Grace in place. And then, footsteps. A shadow in the doorway. But it is not Henry. Not exactly. It is him, yes, but transformed. Dressed as his mother. Wig. Dress. A knife clutched in his hand. And he is coming for her. But before he can strike, Jack stops him. Wrestles him to the ground. And just like that, it is over. Later, a psychiatrist lays it all out. Henry killed his mother years ago but could not live with the guilt. So he kept her body, talked to her, became her. His mind fractured, split in two. And whenever Mother took over, she was ruthless. Brutal. Unstoppable. The last thing we see? Henry. Locked away. Silent. Still. A chilling smile creeping onto his face. Because in his mind, Mother is still alive. Watching. Waiting. And she will never, ever be blamed.